Edward Fordham Spence was a British solicitor, novelist and drama critic for the Westminster Gazette. He was born in 1860 and was educated at Charterhouse, being called to the bar in 1890. He died in 1932. We will cover his 1886 A Freak of Fate. The novel consists of the manuscript of a man named Hosmer, sentenced to death, laying out his wrongful conviction. He was born when both his parents perished in a train crash, and lived in obscurity until he was sent to college by an uncle he had never seen. Then years later he is taken to see his uncle, a strange man feared by the locals, with a glass eye and burnt-off eyebrows, who conducts odd experiments in his glass laboratory in search of a universal materia behind all elements. He takes Hosmer on as an assistant. Then one day Hosmer aids in saving the passengers of a sinking yacht, and meets the Clevelands and especially their daughter Agatha. He falls in love with her, of course, and only later does he learn his uncle loved her mother and was the best friend of her father, before they betrayed him and got married instead. One night his uncle sees Hosmer with Agatha and turns him out for refusing to give her up. That night it is revealed that Agatha's father had embezzled money from the bank he ran before going on the lam, bankrupting Hosmer's uncle and his entire extended family. On returning to aid his uncle in his dire extremity, they quarrel again, which causes the old man to overlook checking the furnace, which explodes, ruining his last-ditch experiment to save himself from ruin, so he curses his nephew that he shall never marry Agatha and hangs himself. Agatha becomes a governess and Hosmer takes on a miserably paying job at an academy full of ignorant brats, where he must teach every subject imaginable to fleece the ignorant parents of his ignorant pupils. Getting a better position after 2 years of this, he gets shipwrecked en route to Queensland, and spends 4 years on a deserted island, where his chief pastime is drugging himself to sleep. Arriving back home, he finds Agatha to have been made rich by the inheritance left behind by an uncle. And as she is still unmarried, she agrees to marry him, but she refuses to let him kiss her, moves away whenever he would put his arm around her, and generally shows other signs of avoiding even the slightest physical intimacy, all while practicing performing duets with a man obviously in love with her, their potential pairing being thrown in Hosmer's face constantly by Agatha's mother, who wants her daughter to marry a more lucrative party while openly despising Hosmer. So one night she casually remarks how someone at the concert they were at thought Agatha and George were engaged. In a "isn't this funny, I am totally not doing this" to signal how you should cast him off and go for the rich man instead kind of way. So Hosmer explodes and, based on the previous genuine concerns, questions Agatha's loyalty. And instead of realizing she and her mother have been giving him ample reasons to feel unwanted, she goes haughty and indignant at the mere idea he could question her fidelity and tells him to leave forever. Conveniently not hearing her mother then launch into a tirade against Hosmer for being penniless and unworthy of her. Spence seems to not be aware these are genuine concerns, especially the mother's directly stated continued efforts to break them up, and acts as if Hosmer is the 100% guilty party here. Eventually Hosmer finds Agatha weeping and she forgives him. But then he sees the ghost of his uncle strangling her to death with the scarf he always used to wear, though her last words seem to indicate it is himself who is doing the strangulation without knowing it. He is then condemned to death for her murder, and we are left to wonder whether he actually just hallucinated everything and killed her because he was epileptic. Because at the time, people thought epileptics just casually and randomly commit murder, I guess.